Record. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Make Money Now coaching call. It is 10 o'clock on June the 24th, 2019, and this is the Make Money Now coaching call. And today we're going to be talking about personal branding. This is one in a series of talking about marketing. One of the things that I have found is that being a good marketer, especially being a good personal marketer, is very important in the real estate business. And there are some certain concepts that we need to really understand, and some things that we do, I would say unintentionally, that confuse people when it comes to our personal branding. So just as we get started, my experience, I was the #1 new agent in Florida in 2005, 2006. I've sold over 120 million in a single year. I've listed 120 properties in a single year. I'm a national trainer and coach. I've owned 3 different brokerages. I have worked with every major brand. I'm the former chief operating officer of The Real Recruiter and Jet Black Solutions, and I am a former Tom Ferry coach. So as we think about this concept of branding, branding is the part of marketing that isn't necessarily where we're looking for a specific response. This is, if you think about this musically, branding is the bass player, right? It's the bass line that's in the background. And so one of the things that we cannot do much of when it comes to branding is have this thought process around a return on investment on branding. Branding is what we do that is a very consistent part of our marketing, and it is what's going on in the background, and it's what people know about us or think about us based upon what we've told them to know about us or think about us. And one of the first things to think about when it comes to effective branding is authenticity. Us projecting an authentic take on ourselves, and one that we identify with and that our public will identify with. One of the things that's changed now for those of us that have made the transition from another business into real estate is our personal lives is now our business lives. And who we are as a person translates very much into who we are as a real estate agent. And that authenticity is very important. So next is consistency. It is just as important that we are consistent in our branding, meaning that we're doing it on a regular basis and in the same way, so that we're not confusing people. And the next is comprehensiveness. So in every aspect of what we're doing, and in every aspect of our branding and our marketing, it's important that we are branding ourselves in a specific way. So the first thing about branding is have a thing. Now, Chris, I have people tell me a lot that I don't have a thing. Well, maybe not having a thing is your thing. I'm going to give you some examples of having a thing. So this is Matthew Soto. He's the mustache realtor. He's a KW agent, and I've worked with him in a couple of different companies. And he carries around, to closings and things, this little paper mustache, and he gets people to put on the paper mustache, and he takes selfies with them, right? That's his thing, the mustache realtor. I had a buddy, I actually had 2 friends who were the bow tie realtor because they always wore bow ties. And again, that might be, a bit cheeky, but whatever your thing is, have it be your thing. I have a friend who is as I am. I used to breed Shih Tzus, and so she likes to tie a lot of her marketing around Shih Tzus. And if you're a friend with Stephanie Connolly, then you would know who Stephanie is just based upon what I've just said about Shih Tzus, because she's always posting about Shih Tzus, and there's usually something. This is actually from Lighter Side of Real Estate, but this is, I Shih Tzu not. I sell your home quickly for top dollar. I Shih Tzu not. So it's the play on words and the thing with Shih Tzus. So Colleen Frost, who many of us are familiar with here in the North Dallas area, is big on moms, and she's got the big Facebook group Moms of Murphy. And so think about, what is my thing? What do people know me for? Am I, and I don't even know what bongo is, but I've heard about bongo from a bunch of the ladies that I work with now. Are you the bongo king? And the bongo realtor, whatever. If you're the person who's always out at the shooting range, shooting your guns and the real estate sniper, whatever. And I'm just throwing these out as crazy ideas. But your thing is what people are going to identify with you and identify you with. And if you have a thing, then definitely use your thing when it comes to your branding. For about 3 years, I carried around these little rubber duckies, and I would buy rubber duckies wherever I went and take pictures and selfies with the rubber duckies. And so I had people sending me rubber duckies. And again, I'm not saying to do this. I'm just saying that if you have a thing, know what your thing is and use your thing in your personal branding. So choose your colors. And I don't just mean your actual physical colors, but I want you to go through a thought process around imagery and how people remember us and how people know us. So people respond to imagery, and we need to be very specific in the imagery that we use, because a star is not just a star. So I just want to take you through this process of looking at some different stars and thinking about what these different stars mean. So the first is, here's a gold star. So if I were to open this up to everyone on the call and say, okay, what does a gold star mean? A gold star is going to mean different things to different people. If you have a child in the military, then being a gold star parent is something that you don't want to be, right? That's a parent who's lost their child in battle. A gold star parent. If, getting a gold star for me, I think about, doing something that to get some type of recognition. Oh, I got a gold star, or I got a cookie. A single gold star, for those who don't know, this is the emblem for, a one-star general in the military, a star, a gold star. So that's a star, but it's very different from a Star of David, right? The Star of David is, it's got a different number of points. It's drawn in a different way. And the Star of David has a very specific meaning. It has a very specific meaning around Judaism. It has a very specific meaning around, this is David's star. So all of us that are in some type of a Judeo-Christian religion can identify with King David, and this is his star. And for many, it's a symbol of peace. This is a different star. This is not a gold star. This is not the Star of David. This is the Cowboys star, right? And so for those of us that are here in the Dallas area and around the world, because Dallas is, the Dallas Cowboys are America's team, when we see this star, we think about the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll just go, even one step further into being ultimately Texasy, is this is not the Puerto Rican star. It would be if the colors were flopped. This is the Texas star, right? And so it's the star with our the Texas flag. I did not know this until recently, but there's actually a very small Texas flag in the American flag. Look for it. If you can't find it, reach out to me afterwards, and I will show it to you. In the American flag, there's a very small Texas flag. So this is the Texas star. So a star is not just a star. When you're putting together your logo and your imagery and your colors, be careful in how you do this, because these colors could mean things to people. And I'll just throw this out. So, burnt orange does not mean anything to me because I'm not from Texas. But for people from Texas, that means the Longhorns, right? That's the University of Texas. Was it crimson and white or red and white, right? So that's the Oklahoma Sooners. Like, these different colors mean things to different people depending upon where they are regionally. So as you're picking your imagery around your logo and picking your imagery around the colors around your logo, be careful, be thoughtful in this process. And I'll talk about some specific ways that we can do this, because the things that we use can mean other things as well. And we want to be careful that we're representing what we want to represent. Slogan. Craig and I talked about a slogan, and having a slogan can sometimes be good. They're good if they're a play on words or something that's very easy to remember. So for a good period of time, and there's a group of people who do not know me as Chris Weaver. They know me as Dreamweaver. And I have people that I interact with that still call me Dream, right? Because that's how they got to know me. This was a nickname that I was using. This was part of coaching that I was doing and everything. And my Dreamweaver Facebook page that's my coaching website page. That's my coaching Facebook page. So if you have a slogan or a nickname, Bruce just jumped on, so he's Bruce Hill, so King of the Hill or whatever. If you've got something that you use, then use it. If it's not contrived, so one of the things to remember is that the reason why we use these things is to make it easier for people to remember us and to identify with us, not to make it more difficult. So try not to be contrived. You don't have to have a slogan, but if you are going to have a slogan, make sure it's one that is fun. That is one of the things that is the easiest thing for us to connect with are things that are fun, and we usually attract people that have that same sense of fun that we do. So if you're going to have a slogan, play on words. I think Craig, when you and I were working on a slogan around the whole shebang real estate, right? And even the name whole shebang. Like, I've got a concept in my mind of what does whole shebang mean. It means it's more than just the buying and the selling of the home, but the fixing of the home and all of those things, which is what Craig wanted to connote in the name. So use help, and I'm gonna tell you, if you are new in real estate or you're going through a shift in your real estate business, this is a great way to energize your base to help you with your business, because you can do masterminds and focus groups with your sphere of influence. So you can bring people together to help you develop these things. So I'm sure if you go through your database, you have some people in your database who are marketing gurus in whatever industry that they're in. Ask them if they would help you in putting together your personal branding. Bring them together, have a mastermind, bring them there for coffee. Use this as a tool in prospecting. So, so the rule of thumb in prospecting is when I'm calling people that I know, if I'm giving them something of value, that's the highest and best use of that interaction with them. So I believe that. I have found one thing more useful in my prospecting than giving people something that they want. And that has been asking them for help. Everyone responds that are in my sphere of influence, that are in my center of influence, when I ask them for help. So if I were to get on the phone right now and call everybody in my sphere and say, listen, I'm going through a bit of a change. I want to do some changes to my branding, to my personal branding, and I'd like your help. And enrolling them in that help process. One of the ways that you can do this is by using social media. So I don't know if you've seen this. It's a trick. If you see people who have put, hey, here are 4 logos that I'm considering, which one do you think is best, right? And do you A, B, C, or D, right? So that is a trick. That is used by people who are teaching people how to use Facebook and social media about how to engage people. It's got nothing really to do with getting their feedback on that. It just opens up a line of communication with a lot of people. But you can use social media and test out some of your branding and play around with some of your personal branding in social media and ask people for help in social media. Also, it's an easy way to get people to interact with you who aren't just here local, because a star might mean something different to someone here in Texas as it does to somebody in North Carolina. Colors mean different things, right? So, when I think of blue and white, I think of, North Carolina, but it's teal, right? Oh, I said blue, not teal, right? So different things are different to different people in different parts of the country. So use your friends and family. I have found that when I reach out to my friends and my family, and it'll just be my sphere in that way, but my friends and my family, the people that are close to me, say, hey, listen, I'm doing some rebranding and I'm working on some different ideas. What do you think? How do you perceive me? How is your perception of me maybe when it comes to my real estate business? Is there anything that I do or any way that I represent myself that would keep you from recommending someone to me? Wow, yeah, Chris, guys, I've heard this. Chris, you're just too fat for me to send you business. I was told that, right? When I was selling real estate, back in the day, I weighed 350 pounds. And I had a number of people who said, Chris, hey, being that heavy tells me you're really not in control of the details in your life, right? So again, I'm not saying that this feedback is something that we are going to necessarily like, but this will give us an understanding of how we want to promote ourselves. After I got that feedback, it was one of the things that actually motivated me to start working out, eat healthy, and lose weight. And from March of 2009 to September of 2009, so 6 months, I went from 350 pounds down to about 240 pounds, and documented that on Facebook and everything. And it was something that was motivating to me. And for the next 5 years, a lot of how people interacted with me had to do with working out and fitness and food and health and all those things. So use your friends and family, get their input. So let's talk about some implementation of branding. So far we've talked about, making some decisions around our branding and some thought process around it. And now I want to talk about some implementation of our branding. I want you to think about making a 2-year commitment to your branding. Anything less than a 2-year commitment is futile. If you go in and do a certain type of branding, now I'm not talking about branding around necessarily a company, but your personal branding, right? So make a 2-year commitment to your personal branding, to the colors, to the logo, to the name, to the website, to your email address. I'll just throw this out to you. You have to own your own email address. You have to own your own domain. I own Coach Dreamweaver. I own CoachDreamweaver.com and CoachDreamweaver.info. I have email. I own AgeOfBusinessExplosion.com. So these are my URLs. These are things that I own. So full disclosure for those of you, I think everybody on the, right now watching live is with eXp. For those of you who know, I'm with eXp. I don't use my Christopher.Weaver@EXPRealty.com email address in any of my marketing because I don't own that. eXp owns that. I need to own all of my own personal branding, my own personal marketing. So make that 2-year commitment to yourself. And when you're making decisions around this, take your time, because this is a multi-year commitment to how you're going to be branding yourself and casting this image of who you are in your business. I cannot I cannot stress this enough. Measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once. Full disclosure, I am dealing with a real estate issue this morning. I have out-of-town clients that are moving here from Idaho. And their only big requirement, though they had things around the house, requirement was that they are in a specific school district. And we got under contract, and we are out of the option period, and they've got their earnest money at risk. And we found out last night that we're in the wrong school district. We're literally across the street. So we're scrambling right now. And guess what? That's on me. That's on me. I can push it back on them, but it's on me. They trusted me. So measure twice, cut once. Do your due diligence. Let more than one person see what you're doing, so that you're not making a mistake that you might be nose blind to, if you know what I mean. So next, be pervasive with your implementation. So if you have a picture that you use on as your profile pic for your Facebook real estate page, it should be a similar picture or the same picture that you're using on your cards and on your marketing materials, right? It needs to be pervasive across all of your marketing. If you're using one font on your business cards and a different font on your website and a different font on your Facebook page, this gets very confusing. This is not cohesive and consistent branding. So be pervasive in that these changes that you're making are changes that you're making across all of those platforms. So business cards, guys, I can't stress this enough. I want you to deconstruct your business cards and reconstruct them, because our companies and these other people decide what should be important on a business card, and we go through and we order business cards quick and fast, and we really don't think about it. It's important that if you're in the business, it's important that your picture is on your business card, especially because those of us that are in the real estate business, we interact with a lot of different people, and we get back and we start going through cards. We don't remember their name, we remember their face, right? So your face is important. Have it be an accurate picture. If your glamour photo does not look like you, don't use it, right? So those of you that can see me in the picture, I've got my nice little beard going on right now and my hat and my glasses. If this is how I always look, this is the picture that should be on my business card, okay? Not one that doesn't look like me. I would strongly recommend having professional pictures done. It's not expensive. You can usually get them done for free. They're at realtor events and things like that. If you need a contact for pictures, I had mine done about 2 years ago now. And I'll probably have to get them redone again very soon because I look different now. And it's about $100, $150. Get professional pictures done. If you never do your hair up big, Craig, so if you never do your hair up big, no big hair pictures on your business card, right? So that's a part of that authenticity part, okay? So as you do these things, you want this to roll out onto all of your print materials. So all of your farming materials, right? All of your just sold cards. So there's an agent that I coach that's up in New Jersey. Her picture is from about 15 years ago. She still looks the same, but she has this big red old telephone receiver in her hand. She's been using that forever, so people recognize her from that, right? So, but that's on everything she does. So she's pervasive in that because that's how people remember her and people recognize her from that, and it works. So make the changes to your website as well. When someone picks up your business card and they click on your website, they should recognize your website from your business card. The look and feel, right? This is important. People identify just as much with how we present something as they do with what we're saying. Also, when we demonstrate our competence and relevance in our digital marketing, we're demonstrating our competence and our relevance in the digital world as a real estate agent. All of your social media. So here's what I want you to do. If you have not done an audit of you, do an audit of you. Go to Google, type in your name. So, do you show up as working for the company that you currently work for? Do all of your social media profiles accurately depict you? Do all of the instances on Google where your name comes up? So if you type up, Chris Weaver, it's going to have the Chris Weaver band. It's going to have some old poker stuff for me from when I used to play poker. There might be some real estate stuff, but you might have to type in Chris Weaver Realtor, right? But go through that. Go down 2 or 3 pages and make sure that everywhere you're out there, how many of you have an active RAIN account, right? Guess what? All of you have an active RAIN account. Every single one of you has an active RAIN account. If you have not claimed it, that's something different, right? How many of you have a NAR site, right? National Association of Realtors, and a NAR profile. We all do. Just because you haven't updated it, and just because it still says you work for a company you worked for 10 years ago, right? So this is our responsibility. Go through all of that. Make sure your pictures are updated. Make sure this is adequately representing you. Make sure that the link to your website actually goes to your website. Like, that would be good, wouldn't it? Okay, now, this is where we make our money in the last 3. Go big or go home. Wrap your vehicle. You have a mobile billboard driving around town. I guarantee you this. You will pay for your car with your wrap. I guarantee you will pay for your car with your wrap. Wrap your vehicle. This is a mobile billboard. If you don't drive nice, if you want to make the excuse, oh, Chris, I cut people off and I don't drive right. Okay, stop being a jerk and wrap your vehicle. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to yell, but stop being a jerk and wrap your vehicle. So that you will get business from wrapping your vehicle. If you can, wrap other people's vehicles with your information on it, right? Sponsor local events and local teams. So if there is a local art festival, if there is a local minor league hockey team, if there is a local semi-pro soccer league, sponsor these events, sponsor these teams. This is big for you to brand yourself in your community. Participate in local print media and magazines. So I've got here, for those of you that are looking over, I've got the community impact for Richardson. And in here, there are, this is something that gets mailed to everybody. There is information, and there are other realtors in here, and I'm not, but I call myself, you're a Richardson realtor, right? I need to be in there. So these are changes that I'm making. So local print media and magazines. And again, this is a branding exercise. Don't think about return on investment. Don't spend too much money on it, right? But these are places where you need to be on a regular basis. For those of you that are here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, how many of you are D Magazine, Dallas Magazine, D Magazine, realtors? This is something that's important to do. You become a D Magazine, listed on the D Magazine by people actually voting for you, and then they let you pay. So there's a little bit of scam involved, but there always is, right? But be in your local print media and your local magazines. Church and school advertising. So local schools and local churches, like you'll have realtors in the program, right, at church. There is I have an agent who is a certified senior agent. So he works almost exclusively with seniors. He sponsors programs at the funeral home. This might sound really despicable, but he believes that it is his calling to help people who are going under this horrible stress of having lost a loved one. And he sees it as his job to protect them and help them around their real estate needs, right? So he infuses himself into that process by being on those flyers, and he'll actually sponsor them and get them printed up. And he works with local funeral homes and local churches, schools as well. So if you're local school, if you've got kids in school, you want to be the parent that is doing the uniforms and doing these different things, right? Everybody always complains about how much their kids cost. Make money on your kids. And this gives us a way to do that. So AdWorks and digital media. If you do not have a digital media presence, you need one. If you don't know what AdWorks is, Google it, GTS, Google that shit. GTS, Google that stuff. Look up AdWorks. This gives you a way to have some pervasive digital sponsorship. The last one, and I'm going to tell a quick little story with this as I finish because I am 2 minutes over. Digital billboards. It used to be you had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to have a billboard. It is now possible for you to get a share of a digital billboard. And you can get a share of a digital billboard for $300 and $400 and $500 a month. So look it up. One of the #1 agents here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area actually got actual real physical billboards done when she got a real estate license. It jettisoned her to be actually the top Keller Williams agent back in 2009. But she put up these big billboards, and she did them in 2 places. She did them on her mom's way home from work, right? As her mom was sitting in traffic, she'd see the billboard, and her dad's way home from work because she was from a family that her parents were divorced, and both of her parents said she was an idiot for getting into real estate. So she got those billboards so that her parents would think that she was a big deal, and she became a big deal, right? So billboards are people actually do read them, and they're branding. They're not marketing to bring us the business immediately. They are branding exercises. So go big or go home. Focus some attention on this. Do this. Personal branding is extremely important. Hope you got value out of today's call. We're going to take a quick 12-minute break, and we'll be back in at 10:45 on the Talent Attraction Mastermind. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great Monday.